Welcome to our deep dive into one of the most intense rivalries in modern history, the US Iran conflict. For over 4 decades, these two nations have been at odds, shaping global politics and security. But what caused this crisis? What major events made things worse? And is there hope for peace? Stay with me as I break it all down in simple terms. Let's begin. The relationship between the United States and Iran has been full of tension for many years. It started getting worse after the Iranian Revolution in 1979. Before that, Iran and the US had good relations, but everything changed when Iran's people overthrew their leader, the Shah, who was supported by the US. After the revolution, Iran became an Islamic republic and its leaders did not trust the US anymore. Since then, there have been many conflicts between the two countries. The US has accused Iran for supporting terrorist groups, while Iran blames the US for interfering in its politics. Over the years, these tensions have led to military clashes, economic sanctions, and even secret operations against each other. One of the biggest reasons of the conflict is Iran's nuclear program. The US and its allies fear that Iran is trying to build nuclear weapons, while Iran says it only wants nuclear energy for peaceful purposes. Another reason is Iran's influence in the Middle East, where it supports groups that the US considers enemies. The US Iran conflict has affected not only these two countries but also the entire world. In this video, we will explore the causes, major events, effects, and possible solutions to this crisis. Causes of the crisis. There are several reasons why the US and Iran have been in conflict for so long. Some of the main causes are the 1979 hostage crisis, the US sanctions on Iran, Iran's nuclear program, military clashes. In 1979, Iranian students stormed the US embassy in Tehran and took 52 Americans hostage. They were angry because the US had given asylum to the former Shah of Iran. The hostages were held for 444 days, and this event created deep hatred between the two countries. The US has imposed many economic sanctions on Iran over the years. These sanctions have hurt Iran's economy by restricting its ability to trade with other countries. The US believes sanctions will pressure Iran to change its policies, but Iran sees them as unfair punishment. The US and other countries fear that Iran is trying to develop nuclear weapons. Iran denies this, saying that its nuclear program is only for peaceful energy production. However, the US has taken strong actions such as imposing sanctions and military threats to stop Iran from advancing its nuclear technology. The US and Iran have had direct and indirect military clashes in the Middle East. Iran supports groups like Hezbollah and Hamas, which the US considers terrorist organizations. The US has also attacked Iranian backed militias in Iraq and Syria, making the situation worse. All these causes have made the relationship between the US and Iran very complicated, and each side blames the other for the crisis. Many important events have shaped the US Iran conflict. Here are some of the most critical ones. Iran Iraq War 1980 to 1988. During this war, the US supported Iraq against Iran. The war caused massive destruction, and Iran has never forgiven the US for helping its enemy. The 2015 nuclear deal, JCPOA. In 2015, Iran signed a deal with the US and other world powers. Iran agreed to limit its nuclear activities in exchange for the lifting of some sanctions. However, in 2018, the US withdrew from the deal nuclear under President Donald Trump, making tensions rise again. In 2020, the US killed Iranian military leader Qasem Soleimani in a drone strike. Iran responded with missile attacks on US bases in Iraq. This event brought both countries to the brink of war. These events have shaped the US Iran conflict, making it one of the most dangerous rivalries in modern history. The long conflict between the US and Iran has had many negative effects. Violence in the Middle East. The tensions between the US and Iran have led to wars and instability in countries like Iraq, Syria, and Yemen. Many people have died because of these conflicts. US sanctions have hurt Iran's economy. Many Iranians struggle with inflation, unemployment, and the lack of basic goods. The government also faces pressure from its own people. Iran is a major oil producer. When tensions rise, oil prices increase, affecting economies around the world. Countries that rely on oil imports suffer when there are conflicts. The crisis has had a major impact on global security and economics, making it a serious issue for the world. Although the situation seems difficult, there are ways to reduce tensions. Renewing peace talks. Diplomatic talks between the US and Iran could help solve major issues like nuclear weapons and sanctions. Dialogue is the best way to prevent war. Reducing military actions. Both countries should avoid direct military clashes. If they stop attacking each other's interests, there will be less chance of war. A nuclear deal. A fair agreement on Iran's nuclear program could help reduce tensions. The US could lift some sanctions if Iran agrees to follow strict rules. If both countries take steps toward peace, the situation can improve. The US Iran conflict is one of the most serious international tensions today. It started with the 1979 Iranian Revolution and has continued for decades. Issues like sanctions, nuclear weapons, and military actions have made the situation worse. The crisis has affected the Middle East and world, causing violence, economic problems, and rising oil prices. However, there is still hope for peace. Diplomacy and dialogue can help both countries find common ground and avoid future conflicts. Will the US and Iran ever be friends again? Only time will tell. And that's the full story of the US Iran conflict. What do you think? Will these two nations ever make peace, or will the tensions continue? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dive into global issues. Thanks for watching and see you next time.